Most likely the toughest presentation of the day, following lunch. So I hope you guys got a cup of coffee. So what I'm going to go through today is talk a little bit about our cash increase and the return on investment for our health system. I hope, again, following lunch, you guys can stay awake through this, but here we go. You good? So just quick intro to myself and my organization. So most of my life nowadays, I'm usually either at work playing CFO or chasing this little guy around. That's my 3.5-year-old son. And if you can see what he's holding here, so we are actually expecting in December. So I'm going to have another little boy to chase around. Real quickly, just about my organization and a little bit of background about me. So I've been in healthcare administration now for roughly 10 years. Most of that, or actually all of it, with the exception of about 6 weeks, is on the finance side of the house. 5 years in my current role as CFO over Union General Health System. And it's a smaller organization in comparison to most of the providers here in the house, in that we only have a couple of hospitals, 1 PPS, 1 critical access, 2 nursing homes, and then 13 outpatient clinics. We're roughly $125 million net patient revenue per year over those facilities. So that kind of gives you a higher level of what we do, and we are on Cerner Community Works, just as a point of reference. So our story and how it kind of ties in with Parathon, roughly 2 years ago, I attended this same user conference and thoroughly enjoyed myself both at the conference and Vegas. So that compelled me to take the step further with Parathon. So through the contract process and procurement, we actually went through several demos with Terry, and at the time, another individual that worked through Parathon saw the money there, the potential that we had. We did not have a contract management software in place, which I had pushed for a couple of years and discussed with my leadership team and the costs associated with it. But it was very, very obvious to me what we were leaving on the table. So we quickly went through the contract process with Corby and the team. Very, very good to work with. As far as timing goes, contract-wise and implementation, and Cerner, you kind of wrap all that stuff together. If you guys know anything about Cerner and Community Works model, it is difficult. Part of me signing the contract was that we had to have something in place. In other words, set up a parallel database outside of Cerner where this is even a possibility. And I don't ever use the word impossible, but I said difficult. This is going to be a difficult process, and Terry said, we're going to make it happen. So that's the attitude that we continue to push and push and push. Through Terry's help and her team and our team, we were able to get that underway actually within about a 6 to 7 month time frame. So it was very much possible. Go to the next slide. I think it's so this is just real briefly how much we were able to return in cash collections. And mind you, this is all gravy on the top. So I'm Southern, and you can probably tell by the way I talk. So gravy on the top, the $4.1 million over the duration of our contract is what we've been able to essentially recover through the three different products that we signed for with Parathon. ED triage, I hate to say it's immaterial because $12,000 is $12,000. But in the grand scheme of things, our largest was the underpayment. In other words, in the contract management piece of that, that's how much Parathon recognized and retrieved in underpayments was $3.5 million. Zero balance reviews, $636,000. So big numbers for a system that's roughly 125 million net per year. Thank you. And which payers? This is always interesting to me. Who was the major violators in this underpayment? So I know this has been kind of the discussion, and we had a brief discussion with Peter at lunch about kind of my philosophy and why we all have the same problems and we're all working towards the same goal. Here's your problem, children. Out there on the graph, out of that $4.1 million, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that's probably no surprise to you guys, was the leader in that pack there. So I obviously have a lot more detail. Parathon, their tools are unbelievably detailed in nature. But for sake of today, I thought you guys may find that interesting, the Blue Cross Blue Shield and then the Medicare Advantage to immediately follow that. And so the ROI, does anybody have a guess as to what the return on that investment was in Paragon? Because I do this stuff every day, so it was not a huge surprise to me. But does anybody have a guess as to what the ROI was on our Parathon investment?
3.6.
As a percent. You're getting close. So go ahead and flip over to or just click 722%, which is pretty outstanding. I actually didn't know this number. I should know this, but I did not know this number until recently. I follow the expenses and the trends on the collections, but I did not actually calculate this number until recently. So that's a pretty astonishing and outstanding number. So kudos to you guys, and I'm thankful as a CFO of doing business with you guys and seeing a return like this on our investment. But that is essentially the expiration of my presentation. I told you I would get us back on track.
Now you just need to drop your mic.